I'm sure you're tired of trying all these different exercises and you're seeing little to no gains in your chest. Maybe you've tried weights, or maybe you're just looking for a solution that you can do at home. But what if I told you the solution that I have for you is something that you don't need to go to a gym for, and you can virtually do it anywhere. You can do it in a park, you can do it in your room, you can do it in your mom's basement. My point is, you can do this exercise anywhere. And if that sounds like you and you're interested in skyrocketing your chest gains, this video is for you and you're gonna wanna listen. The exercise that I'm talking about is the push-up. Yes, that's how I built my chest. I didn't have any dumbbells, I didn't have any weights, I didn't even have a bench to start myself up. All I had was myself and a living room space. And by doing this exercise, it has helped me build a very masculine, sexy, and aesthetic chest. Now, how do you get started with push-ups if you can't do a push-up, which is probably where you're at right now? And the way you can start doing push-ups is starting off with wall push-ups. You've heard me. Start off with wall push-ups if you cannot do push-ups. That way you can get the downward motion of the movement on point. And once wall push-ups start to get a little bit too easy, then we can move on to kneeling push-ups. One tip that I'll recommend is do not put your knees on solid ground. The amount of knee pain that I've went through trying to do it without a mat, or like just anything to cover my knees, is painful. So you're gonna need something, to rest your knees on. And it's the same principle, just only that you're doing it kneeling down on the floor. You wanna go very slow on the downward motion and explode on the upward motion. And you can use this time of doing the kneeling push-up to get your form right. Now, let's say you're finished with the kneeling push-up and you want to move on to something else. Perfect. Now we can move on to doing normal push-up. Now, to make sure you have good form, I want you to have your arms just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Make sure your elbows are turned in and not flaring outward, because you're going to get some weird joint pain and you're going to end up with some fucked up injury. So make sure you're following what I'm saying. So make sure your elbows are tucked in, your hands are more than shoulder width apart, and you make sure your back is straight. Make sure your back is straight. I don't want your butt sagging or it being too high. I want it as straight as a plank. Super straight. Now, you have your positioning correct. It's kind of like being in a plank position, only that your arms are just wider than shoulder width, just by a teeny bit, not by too much. You want to have the same principle that you would do with kneeling push-ups and the wall push-ups. You want to go very slow on the downward motion, very slow, and explode when you go up, and repeat that process. Remember, form over reps. Now the exercise is the same exercise, but this variation is what what exploded my chest even more. And that's the decline push-up. You're gonna need something to elevate your feet into the air, something stable, like a box or something. Once you have that, I want you to put your legs on the elevated surface. Let's say it's a chair in this case. You have your feet on the chair. Now you're gonna wanna go very slow in the downward motion. Same principle, it's just that now you're targeting your upper pectoralis muscle, and you'll still be working your lower pectoralis muscle, so it's a win-win. Basically, you're gonna get a very big chest and still keep your hands more than shoulder width apart, just by a little bit, not by too much. Make sure your elbows are tucked in, the basic stuff. And I'm telling you, your chest gains will explode. But the next tip that I'm going to give you, if you don't do this, you're not gonna see any gains. And that tip is lean bulking. Chances are you're not upping your protein intake. And the way you can up your protein intake is by simply just eating more protein. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said I counted my calories. I don't. All I do is I make sure I just eat a shit ton of protein. And if you want to get autistic about it, we'll do multiply 0.8 by your body weight. Simple. That is the amount of protein that you should be eating. That's if you're a numbers guy and all that. So remember, 0.8 grams of protein per body weight. So let's say you are, let me get my phone. Let's say you're 150 pounds. You put 0.8 times 150, you are going to be wanting to eat 120 grams of protein. Let's say if you are around 170 like me, you're gonna want to eat 136 grams of protein. You don't want to eat the same amount of your body weight. We're optimizing for muscle gains. But if you're a simple guy like me, all I recommend is just eat high protein meals. Don't worry about all the numbers and logistics after that. My goal is to just get you to start exploding your chest. And with these tips that I've just shown you, you will build a sexy chest. Now, if you enjoyed these videos, I would appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe button. That way, it gives me feedback on what videos are doing well. And if you have any videos that you'd like for me to cover, comment them down in the comment section down below. Peace.